In this screencast video lecture, we are going to see about the nitrogen cycle. It is also referred as a biological nitrogen cycle, as it consists of a living organisms also associated there. It is a diverse process that interconverts the different nitrogenous compounds that have been present there in the biosphere in a cyclic fashion, as well as a constant flux have been maintained with the other sources of the environment such as a lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. So, nitrogen molecule has been moving from the living into the non-living component, and again it is getting cycled there. So, this cycle is referred as a nitrogen cycle, as a lot of microorganisms have been involved here. In detail we are going to study about them, so it is referred here as a biological nitrogen cycling process. Next, we try to find out what are the forms in which nitrogen have been associated there in the living organism. Nitrogen is a key molecule that is required for the building block, that is the protein. It is absolutely necessary component of the protoplasm of plants, animals and even in the microorganism it is essentially required. These are all the various biological molecules in which nitrogen could be present. It includes amino acids, nucleic acids, enzymes, hormones, vitamins. In plants and microorganisms as a chlorophyll and other pigments. Then purine and pyrimidine that makes about the nucleic acid components, and finally it is also present there in the alkaloids. Next, we try to look at how nitrogen have been present there in the environment. In atmosphere, they constitute about 79% by volume, and the largest reservoir, that is 3.8 into 10 power 15 metric ton, is the one which have been present there in the atmosphere, and it is very slowly cycled owing to the triple bond of the nitrogen. They reach the other environment during their cycling, mainly on the lithosphere and hydrosphere, both by abiotic and biotic process. If you look at into the component of abiotic, it is mainly by lightning and meteorite trails and cosmic radiation, that are all basically of a physico-chemical reaction by which nitrogen is fixed into ammonia. Apart from that, biotic process is also involved in converting the nitrogen, that is referred as a biological nitrogen fixation, or shortly called as a BNF. Large reservoir of nitrogen have been present there in the environment in the igneous rock, that is about 15 into 10 power 15 metric tons is the one that have been present there. And it is also present there in the sedimentary rocks as a bound ammonia form. These are essentially unavailable reservoirs of nitrogen, that is, nitrogen cannot be easily released from these particular sources. This table shows you the various organic and inorganic nitrogen compounds that have been considered as a components, and they are all involved there in the nitrogen cycling. They consist of highly oxidized forms such as a nitrate ion, nitrite ion, and highly reduced forms such as a hydroxylamine as well as the ammonia, that are all dominating there mainly under the anaerobic conditions, whereas the oxidized forms will be dominating under the aerobic conditions. Thus, in nature, nitrogen may exist either in a highly oxidized form such as a nitrate or a highly reduced form such as a ammonia. Next, we try to understand how this nitrogen have been supplied there for the living organism, mainly our microorganisms that have been cultivated there in the laboratory. It is added both in the organic as well as inorganic form. It serves as an inorganic form, that is ammonia and nitrate salts will be added while you are preparing a nutrient broth or an agar medium. Apart from that, certain organic form that are commonly used includes peptone as well as yeast extract. Yeast extract, in addition to supplying nitrogen, they will also supply certain B vitamin. Next, we try to look at the important components that have been present there in the nitrogen cycle. These 6 components are very important there in the nitrogen cycle. They are proteolysis and ammonification, which are mainly consists of mineralization processes. That is, the organic form of a nutrient is converted into inorganic form. The next one is a nitrosification, that is the first step, and the next one is nitrification. Both this process finally ends in the production of nitrate molecule. This can be carried out by two different groups of organisms, or it can be carried out by a single group of organisms. That is COMAMOX, that is complete ammonia oxidizing organism. They are all mainly belonging to the phylum of Nitrospira. The next step is assimilatory nitrate reduction. So this is a process in which the nitrogen can be assimilated there inside the living cells. The next one is a dissimilatory nitrate reduction. That is, here the nitrate molecules are finally converted into nitrogen gas and they are escaping there into the atmosphere. It is also technically referred as a denitrification. It's an anaerobic process that operates there in the natural. And the subsequent one is the anaerobic ammonium oxidation process, which is shortly referred as a ANAMOX process. And finally, an important one with relation to our course is a nitrogen fixation, which is also referred as a biological nitrogen fixation. Here, this diagram represents the whole process of the nitrogen cycle. Here, the right hand side one is being represented there with the aerobic process, whereas the left hand side one has been represented there with the anaerobic process. And each process have been shown there in a circle form. The enzyme that have been involved in that process have been shown there with an underlining. The organism that have been involved in the process is given in the italics. If the organism belongs to bacteria, it will be just given in italics. If it is of a archaea, the italics is again underlined. That is the difference there that have been shown there in this diagram.